Hey, this is Aaron Burke. I'm so glad that you're joining me for Made for More. We are in a brand new year, and I hope that you are coming into this new year with fresh vision and excitement. If you're watching this far into the future, we're glad that you're joining us also. We put out new content every single month, and what we're going to do over the next couple months is we're going to do a huge focus on health. So I'm going to have different people, a dietitian and a chiropractor and different fitness people on here to talk to you about how to get as healthy as possible. We're going to talk about relational health. We're going to talk about emotional health, mental health, physical health. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be the next 6 months of podcasts. It's going to be awesome. Plus, we'll mix it in with some great interviews. I'm glad you're joining us. It's going to be a lot of fun. But today, I want to talk to you about a leadership lesson that's really been challenging to me, and it's something I've been challenging my staff with. I hope it'll be something that'll help you, and really something to evaluate yourself at the beginning of this year. And here's the title. The title is simply, What is your reputation? What is your reputation? What's your reputation? When people think about you, what comes to mind? There's a phrase that people use that I hear often, and I would say it's the phrase of those who have never done anything significant in their life. So here's the phrase. If you say this phrase, you are somebody that is insignificant. So here's what it is. Ready? Who cares what people think? Who cares what people think? People tell me that all the time. Aaron, who cares what people think? What people think actually really, really matters. And here's why. Because what people think about you develops and really gives you the ability to speak into their life and to lead them. Nobody's going to follow someone who they think is not worth following. So you need to guard and cherish your reputation. Your reputation is the beliefs or opinions that are generally held about somebody. So the Cambridge Dictionary defines it this way. It's the opinion that people have of someone or something based on past behavior or character. So I remember having a conversation with a guy one time. And as I was having the conversation with him, he kept leaning closer to me and closer to me and closer to me. I was like, this is about to get weird. And what I realized is, as Seinfeld calls it, he was a close talker. He was a close talker. So a few months later, I remember running into somebody and they knew the same guy. And so when I mentioned them, the person that I was talking to said, hey, have you ever noticed how close he talks? And I was like, yes. They're like, yes, I was just talking to somebody else and realizing, man, that guy really talks close. It was part of his reputation. And I wondered I wonder if he knew that this was his reputation. And if he did know it, he would probably change it, because your reputation matters. There is an idea, a stigma, a thought that people have about you that if you knew it, you could change it and they would want to follow you more. That doesn't mean we mold ourselves and we bend ourselves to what everybody else thinks we should be. But it does mean that we need to live in such a way that we don't put obstacles up towards our leadership. So the fact that, we always show up late, or we're always disheveled, or we always, we don't remember things, or we talk too loud, or we have bad breath. There's reputations that we need to change. So let me just say this, first of all, your reputation really does matter. The Bible says it this way in Proverbs 22, a good name, and that word name there is your reputation. What people think about you is more desirable than great riches, is to be esteemed better than silver or gold. So more than you making money this year, my challenge for you is to make a great name this year. And it's very easy to ruin our names with bad reputations, but it's great to fix our names and have a name that is really solid with a good reputation. And let me just say this, is that your reputation can go sour. So if you would have asked the world, what is the reputation of a Bill Cosby? Well, 20 years ago, they would say he's the all-American dad. He is a mentor to everybody. He is what every man should aspire to be. But how many know that reputation has changed because of what he did? If people say, who's the greatest basketball player of all time? People would say, Michael Jordan. He's the GOAT. Why? Because his reputation is he's incredible. He's done it for so many years. He's the best of the best. Don't throw any arguments in the chat there on YouTube or wherever on Instagram about the fact that he's not the GOAT. He's the best of all time. So your reputation really does matter. So here's what I would encourage you. Ready? In most cases, the only person who can positively or negatively impact your reputation is you. So don't cast blame. and go, well, my reputation is like that because of who my dad is or who my friends are or what this person did or what that boss did to me. No, you are responsible for having a positive reputation or a negative reputation in your life. So here's the 3 questions I want you to ask going into this new year. And I think it'll be something that'll help you. If you take notes, write it down. If you don't take notes, answer these questions while you're driving. Ready? Number 1, who can give me honest feedback about my current reputation? Let me say it again. Who can give me honest feedback about my current reputation? I think that person, that friend, that coworker, that boss is valuable. You need to be able to name that person and go, what is my reputation? And I have friends in my life and I've asked them. And I said, what do people think? And many times what I hear is not great, but I can't fix it if I don't hear it. So my question for you is, who is it in your life? I think you should start this new year sitting down with a couple different people and say, hey, I'm trusting you to give me some honest feedback. You need to write down 2 or 3 names right now. Who can I trust to give me honest feedback? Number 2, how am I going to respond when I hear honest feedback? I want you to get that. How am I going to respond when I hear honest feedback? Are you going to get defensive? Are you going to get angry? Or are you going to come up with excuses? I've always heard it said that you can make excuses or you can make progress, but you can't make both. So you got to make a decision. When people say something about you, will you get defensive or will you listen to it? I have a really good friend and he told me the other day, he said, hey, I want to speak into your life. Is it okay if I speak into your life? Yeah. And he says, I'm going to tell you something that might be hard for you to hear. And I was like, okay, I'm going to get some feedback. And when he told me it, he challenged me in such a way, and it was how I was leading and what I was doing in a certain situation, and it was tough for me to hear. But if you make up your mind ahead of time that no matter what they say, they're saying it with good intentions. I knew his intentions were good. I knew his intention wasn't to take my job or to make me feel bad. His intention was to make me better. So it's who can I trust, and then how am I going to respond? You are responsible for how you respond when people give you feedback. I'll say this, as a boss of 70 plus employees, if somebody asks for feedback and I give them honest, brutal feedback, and if they come up defensive, guess what? Next time, never give them feedback again. Because I realize they don't really want to change. They want to be coddled. And I think that's really, really, really important. I love how John Maxwell talks about it. We mentioned it on an episode earlier about how somebody was saying how they disagreed with something in one of his books. And he said, that's okay. I'm not here to make you happy. I'm here to make you better. He says, I'm your leader. I'm not your clown. And I think that's so huge. As leaders, we are there to lead. We're there to get better. And part of that is receiving feedback into your life and saying, I'm making a decision ahead of time. When I hear it, I'm going to swallow my pride and I'm going to receive the feedback. And don't respond with excuses. Respond with, I'm going to find out what the truth is in this and I'm going to make it better. All right. Who can give me honest feedback? How am I going to respond? And number 3 is, what can I do to improve my reputation? So then I'm going to listen and go, what can I honestly improve? So if someone says your reputation is that, you're from Pensacola, well, that's my reputation. Well, I can't change that. I can't change who I am. But if they say your reputation is you always show up late, or you're not prepared for meetings, or you say one thing, you overpromise and you underdeliver. If that's my reputation, I can change that. So now I'm going to make a decision and go, well, what can I do to change my reputation? I heard it was my reputation that I overpower people in meetings. So I don't give them enough space to talk. I don't give them enough space to brainstorm. I like to throw out my ideas because I think my ideas are better. Well, that was hard for me to hear. I said, no, I'm a collaborative leader. I like to put the right people at the table. They go, well, you don't give them time to speak. So what I've had to do is learn that since that's my reputation, I'm going to change it. So I have to intentionally be quiet in meetings, be okay with some silence. That's really tough for me. So what do? I'm going to work on changing my reputation. All right, so let me give you some reputation suggestions as we close out this podcast. And here's some things that I think help everybody's reputations. Number 1 is always under promise and over deliver. Under promise and over deliver. One of the greatest reputation issues I see in so many leaders is that they overpromise too much and then they underdeliver. So I'm always going to underpromise and overdeliver. We're doing a special service this month on our Wednesday nights. So I told people, I said, you need to come. It's going to be a great service. In my mind, I think it's going to be overly powerful. I think it's going to be amazing. I think lives are going to be forever changed. But I've stopped saying that stuff so that people come in with going, it's going to be good. And I blow them away with what they experience. You always want to underpromise, overdeliver. If you say it's going to be done by Friday, deliver it on Thursday. If you say you're going to be there at noon, be there at 11:45. If you say I'll respond by the end of the day, do so at 3 o'clock. Learn how to over-deliver whatever you promise. Here's the second one. It's simply show up early. There's a great reputation when people show up early. There's some guys and people I meet with in the church, and when I go to meet with them, it's always a competition of who's going to be there first. I like to be at a meeting 10 to 15 minutes early, and then I'll get there, and they sometimes will run into a meeting and go, oh, no, I wanted to beat you here first. I wanted to be there. It's a great reputation. It shows honor. And so show up early. Don't show up late. Don't think that you're the most important person and everybody can wait on you. Show up early. Here's a third one. I think this is huge in our world today. Is be fully present. When people are having conversations with you, are they having a conversation with you and competing with whoever you're scrolling at or looking at on your phone? People should not have to compete with your attention. The most important person in the world is the person right in front of you right now. So be fully present. It's a quote I live by Jim Elliott. Wherever you are, be all there. So be fully present. I've had to learn to shut my laptop whenever someone comes into my office. Put my phone away when I'm at a dinner table. Talk to my kids and look at them in the eye. Be fully present. It's a great reputation. And lastly, a good reputation is someone that does what they say. So do what you say. Even if it costs you, make a decision to do what you say. I remember a few years ago, I met with a church planter in town, and we always make a commitment in our town that if someone plants a church in the Tampa Bay area, we're going to support them. So we made a decision to support this church planter. I was already going to do it, but I made a decision. I want to meet with you guys and meet with you and your spouse, and we'll talk about it. Well, I sat there and I promised him $5,000. It was a lot of money. It's a ton of money, $5,000. But I really felt like we needed to be behind this guy. Well, a month later, we got into a place where we were undergoing a major building project within our church, and we didn't have a lot of money. We were really struggling. It was tight. But I remember making a decision going, despite the fact that it's going to hurt us, it's better for my reputation to always do what I say. And we wrote the guy the check. It hurt. It was tough, but you've got to do what you say. So 4 suggestions: under promise, over deliver. Show up early, be fully present, and do what you say. Here's some good news for you. Ready? The good news is a bad reputation is fixable. Let me say it again. A bad reputation is fixable. There were things in my life that were my reputation years ago that are not my reputation now. The good news is people forget. They move on pretty quick. So if you don't keep enforcing that reputation in their mind and you change, people will forget what you did in the past. So a good reputation is fixable. And how do we fix it? We overcome a bad reputation with good results. Let me say that again. We overcome a bad reputation with good results. So we find a way to produce good results in that area. So if you're always late, find a few months where you're being intentional about showing up early. If you're always forgetting stuff, find a way to you can, before anybody even reminds you, you're telling them how you're working on it. Figure out ways to fix it with good results. Most people have short-term memory problems. They will forget the past if you stop reinforcing their opinion. Your reputation is fixable. I think you're going to have a great year. I think God's made you into be an amazing leader. So we're going to help you this year. We're going to do some health studies and really help you go to the next level with your health. But before you do any of that, evaluate, what is your reputation? The unexamined life is not a life worth living. So you got to examine your life and figure out how you can make it better this year. The better you get, the better people will be at following you because they want to follow a leader who has a good reputation. We'll see you next month. Here's what I want you to do. Like, subscribe. Make sure you share this content with somebody. We're making it short and sweet. Why? Because we want to create more content that goes out on a regular basis to help you become a better leader. Thanks for listening to Made for More.